Does Internet Marketing Ninjas provide core web vitals, reports, and audits, or do you go beyond that?
We go beyond that, but that's been my focus primarily since getting here, and I think that we're obviously strong in that area because we've been providing those reports. But now that the time is of essence, we're recommending this new service.
And this new service kind of, instead of doing as much a report or an audit, it's pretty much getting getting our hands dirty and going right in and just, all right, we're going to start editing and changing this so that it loads super fast and your scores go way up.
That's right. I mean, that's the idea is to put the changes in place, and you can view it as a bridge or a band-aid to get the scores when the scores start to become important in Google. And thereafter, if you can make these changes on your own origin source, you know, we can remove these things and not have them in place. We're also trying to write it cleverly enough that it's conditional based on whether so that if you do make the change, then our edits won't take effect necessarily. So that kind of thing can help you bridge the gap and get there before your developers are able to. And the developers also can look at the modified code in order to understand, and we can provide them the report of what our code is doing so that they can make the changes, and then we can disengage at that point, because ultimately the goal is you want these things in place. But pretty much every client, just about, will usually have problems getting their developers to do everything that's in an SEO audit report. There are a few different reasons for it. Sometimes they're literally not able to. In a previous video, we described how some CMS systems give you the ability to upload a logo but not provide alt text for that logo, strangely. And it's like, why? It's an image. Why can't we put there's no field for us to enter alt, and we can't change the source of the CMS like we could if there was a theme or something. So those kinds of things are sometimes barred from the developers of your site. So even when they tell you we can't change this, sometimes they're telling the truth. But if once we're in the loop through the DNS proxy service, Cloudflare, we can change that through a simple find and replace or some other method like a rewriting of that element. So those are things that we're able to do, actually, that sometimes your developers are locked out of due to the nature of their CMS system or something.
And there's a lot of items that are like that. I mean, I think a lot of times when we used to sell reports or analysis, we would hand someone a load time or a core web vitals report. They would hand it to their designers or programmers. And the most common thing would be the client would come back and say, hey, out of the 30 things that you mentioned on here, the programmers fixed number 7 and number 18. And the rest of it, they say there's nothing that they can do. And a lot of those things where they say there's nothing that we can do, there are ways that we can do those. And we can set it up by also incorporating the cloud in there and a lot of the advantages of that. There's a lot of the things that they might not be able to do, but that we can get the site to do, and then explain to your guys, here's how we got the site to do the things that you said it couldn't do. I guess is one way to explain that.
Exactly. And the nature of Cloudflare as a service itself is already going to speed your site up. So if you're on a slow host, it can be a solution for that, and you get sort of two birds with one stone in effect. You're already on a faster network because they're going to cache your pages and serve them from the edge. And then, so you get that benefit, and then you get the benefit that we can go in and make these transformations of your code, basically using methods that Cloudflare supplies us through the worker API of JavaScript. So it's fairly simple stuff that we can do things piecemeal too. We can tackle things that aren't necessarily purely only SEO but are important anyway. Like we could add GDPR compliancy. We can do things like modifying security headers, page headers, and security measures to make sure things like no opener is same origin, meaning that pages that people link that you open in new tabs don't have access to to changing, your own website code to spoof your users and, hack into your visitors. So I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do that are obviously we're gunning for core web vitals, but other things you may be missing over time, we can start to implement those things. And simply
And it's
by,
not so much a report as it is, we're just gonna go in and do it.
yeah.
Like, who wants a stinking report when we can get the work done during that time and just be like, here, it's done.
And now it's become critical because May is coming up. We have 1 month left, and that's it. It's a ranking factor. So that time is of the essence. That's why, we're going to go ahead and do the hands-on thing and just provide you the ability, for us to be able to just make these changes ourselves on your behalf
Awesome.
through this service. Yeah.